Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have fixed the heating. Are you feeling warmer?
Much better.
Yeah. Right. Well, so a big warm welcome this time to the second part of today's seminar. I'm very fortunate to know Chris Wright from another life that I'm involved in. Chris is a very enthusiastic, energetic young woman who has done a lot in her life and a lot in social sector, actually assisting and making a difference to the lives of people. One of the key tools that she's used in all of her pursuits has been social media. So I didn't think there was anyone better that could give you a bit of insight into that topic than Chris. Please make her welcome.
Thank you, Keith. And good morning, everyone. It really is a privilege to be here today speaking to you about a very, trying to not make it a complicated topic. And that is the importance and power of social media, let alone social media marketing. Now, for people in the back of my speaking loud enough, is this okay? Yeah? Okay, brilliant. If I could please have my PowerPoint. As Keith mentioned before, my background in social media and marketing goes back many years, and it actually started when I was the head specialty scuba diving instructor for a company here in Melbourne. I wasn't just teaching the courses, I was promoting the trips and the courses as well as the dive gear and overall the brand. So my passion for that side of marketing started in my teens, and it also started when I work with all the charities that I'm fortunate enough to be involved with. And I think what I've noticed through the years is how the businesses that have been able to grow with social media have advanced compared to those that can't keep up, essentially. So that is what we're diving into today. Today, we will be covering a variety of different topics to do with social media, starting obviously with the general overview, following on with the importance of it, and how to choose the right platforms. I like to call them diving into the big four. We'll also be then going on to content creation, how to analyze insights, and also discussing engagement strategies as well. We then want to talk about developing a marketing plan for your socials. And I will follow that up with a case study that I have personally done for a charity here that I work for in Melbourne, which is the National Voice Choir of Australia. I'm very passionate about those young men. They are some of the best, most spirited boys I've ever met. And then we'll follow on with the next step. So how we can summarize this in a nice little package to benefit your businesses, overall. Okay, so first, as mentioned, the overview. So what we're going to dive more into today is not just, the importance, but we want to know how to develop a successful marketing plan through social media to then have a successful implementation of it to benefit your business. So this is just a little brief overview of what I'm going to dive into more today. And it's about basically covering key concepts, best practices, and real-world examples to essentially enhance understanding and implementation of these marketing strategies. Social media has become an essential tool for individuals and businesses alike, transforming how we communicate, share information, and essentially connect with others. It offers unparalleled opportunities for networking, brand building, and overall consumer engagement. For businesses, social media is a very powerful platform for marketing and advertising, allowing them to reach a vast targeted audience for a relatively low cost. It also facilitates direct interaction with customers, which is fostering loyalty and trust. That's what is a good foundation of a successful social media campaign for businesses, is that trust and that communication. For individuals, it enables self-expression, it keeps them informed about current events and allows them to stay connected with friends and family. But essentially, overall, the importance of social media lies in its ability to connect people, promote brands, and provide a dynamic platform for communication and information sharing. These are what I like to call the big four platforms. Now, up there, I haven't included TikTok, and the reason why I haven't included it under the big four is because TikTok at the moment is being banned in quite a few countries. It's banned in India, China, the UAE. They're about to ban it in America. So for me personally, if I was setting up a business, I would focus on these four and then TikTok being kind of the fifth option if need. Listed on the slide are pros and cons essentially for the big four platforms. Now, those that have Instagram and Facebook set up for their business, you would have what's called a Meta account, which actually allows you to post on Instagram or Facebook, but have it upload on the other platform simultaneously, which makes it very user-friendly and makes it kind of everything look nice and in sync as well. Facebook. So Facebook is excellent for fostering a community through group discussions and interactions, and it is effective for event promotion. It is, however, limited organic reach. So what that means is it's very monitored on the algorithm. So that organic interaction that you'll have with your consumers can be limited if the posts and the events aren't programmed appropriately, if that's making sense. For Instagram, it is ideal for visually driven content, like, for an example, car photos or event photos. Fostering, I guess, strong visual storytelling, which is when you start to build that connection with your audience and therefore create those relationships and make it a bit more personal. The con of having Instagram, I guess, would be it is limited in in-depth communication capabilities for detailed discussions. So usually with a business account through Instagram, if someone is wanting to reach out to you, it will sometimes go into your, I guess, direct message requests, not necessarily your inbox, like a Facebook Messenger or an email front. So therefore you may miss when customers are inquiring with you directly through your business account. YouTube, it is perfect for video tutorials, event highlights, interviews. It also offers a platform for detailed and long-formed content, where Facebook and Instagram usually limit the videos max to a minute, if not 5 is even pushing it on those platforms. So YouTube really allows for that flexibility and duration of the videos that you are providing for your customers. The only problem with YouTube is that it does require significant resources and time investment for creating high quality video content. So there is a lot of work behind the editing, the filming, making sure that it's published in a way where you pop up on YouTube if people search, your search terms coincide with those, what people are searching. So it's very, 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 it's quite timely. Twitter is also amazing for good and for real-time updates. So it's a really good resource to be able to update your customer bases quickly with very kind of prompt sentences or quick updates compared to Facebook or Instagram. However, there is a character limit which restricts detailed communication and content depth. So that's the con. You can give quick updates, but they have to be short and sweet, so to speak. So in the top, it will be your right corner. I've listed some insights that are very important to consider when posting on all platforms, and that includes the amount of posts, how many likes you're getting, the comments, etc. But there wouldn't essentially be socials without content creation. So effective content creation is crucial for engaging audiences and driving business goals. Understanding your audience's preferences and leveraging insights from analytical enhances content relevance and performance. So other than the common insights, it's really important to understand the content that you have to produce to target your audience. You know, if you are a car club, but yet you're posting about motorbikes, that's not really relevant to your audience. So it's keeping it within your niche, which is going to allow you to build a rapport and a connection with your consumers, and therefore increase your overall insights, which is going to be the likes, the shares, the comments, all of that. Talking about engagement strategies. So engagement strategies, they're pivotal in cultivating a vibrant online community and enhancing brand interaction. So by leveraging insights and creatively engaging with audiences, you can essentially foster meaningful connections, and it again reiterates driving in that loyalty customer basis, which is what we want for our businesses. The data that you can see on the screen is actually data I have derived from a campaign I did for the 60th anniversary dinner for our beautiful National Boys Choir. And it showed about the engagement. It was essentially, it was the interactions against age and gender. And I was able to pull that information, and now the posts moving forward, I'm skewing them more to target that audience, because that is where I got my most engagement from, and I want to keep that up.
You've only got two genders.
It's not. What about two biological
Not
sexes?
wide enough for the 97 yet.
Yeah. Look, in the key elements of the engagement strategy, no, it's actually very common now. I have a teenage sister, and it's all part of it. So the key elements in engagement strategy. So as listed, we've got the interactive content. So you want to utilize, you know, your polls, your quizzes, and your interactive posts to encourage your customer bases to engage with you and to not just look at you, so to speak. We've then got community building. So this again goes into creating those discussions around your business. And it also though ties into you responding promptly to the inquiries that you get. You don't just want to leave people hanging in a public forum where they're commenting on your Facebook or Instagram posts and the business themselves isn't responding to them. The personalization, it basically ties into that, that loyalty and that community basis of tailoring content to audience interested, and I guess preference based on your analytical feedback, which we just discussed on how to analyze. But it's tailoring it to your audience. So it's making them feel special, essentially, to put it bluntly. Calls to action. Calls to action, I guess, also tie into the interactive content in the sense though you really want to prompt your users to share, comment, and participate in what you're doing. And this also ties into sharing and participating in your events. It doesn't just stay on the social platforms. And again, I think a big part of this is making your audience feel important and making them feel like you care about them, because behind the screens, they are real people, even though it can be sometimes hard to see. So with all of this that we've discussed so far, and I know it's been a lot, we now need to discuss how do we actually put that into a marketing plan? How do we do the insights? How do we do the effective strategies? How do we put that into a plan that we can implement for our businesses? First, you want to identify goals. So we want to set clear goals, which provides direction and helps measure the success of your marketing efforts. So for instance, aiming to increase memberships by 20% within 6 months sets a specific target to work towards. So have very specific goals in mind for your social media and marketing plan, which is going to help you analyze how your analytics and insights are actually going on the social platforms themselves. Target audience, understanding your target audience. It sounds like a basic one, but it's actually very complicated because it involves a lot of research into the past of who has visited all of your socials, who has interacted with your pages, who has attended your events. So by understanding your audience, it allows you to basically tailor your messaging and content to their preferences and interests to keep those insights growing. For an example, if your target audience is car enthusiasts, you can focus on content related to car maintenance tips, highlights, and industry news that really resonates with this demographic. If you are wanting to personally target younger audiences, I would love to see more basic stuff about cars that potentially my parents haven't taught me yet or I haven't learned in school. Where I'm going to look online for that. And so far, I haven't found anywhere that will teach me that. So just these little things that can also help you broaden your audience. We want to make sure we're tapping into the audience that we already have, but if you are wanting to grow it, there are ways to do so by thinking out of the box. But if anyone want to make those videos, please send them over to me. I would really appreciate it. A content calendar sounds like a very straightforward idea. However, it is crucial in the success of your social media marketing plan. So for a content calendar, it's basically just planning your content in advance, which ensures consistency, and the algorithms of the social platforms love consistency, and allows for strategic alignment with your marketing goals, essentially. So it basically keeps you on track. For instance, you want to schedule posts about upcoming events, product launches, or promotional campaigns, ensuring timely and relevant communication with your audience. And, you know, the content calendar doesn't just have to be limited to the socials. You can also incorporate a content calendar into your website, ensuring that when you post on your socials, updates on your websites are kind of all good to go and they tie into everything. Finally, your analytics. So you want to monitor these, which helps you measure the effectiveness of your marketing activities. And it basically helps identify areas for improvement. So you have to be quite self-critical with these campaigns and really understand where you are lacking, essentially. Therefore, you can improve with the next campaigns, or again, reassess your goals and set another 6 months goals to really improve your insights, your analytics, and your page visits, so to speak. There's an emphasis on a good marketing plan having a systematic planning and data-driven decision-making. It basically helps achieving marketing objectives effectively. When you're really critical, you can plan things to a very detailed level, and it allows you to stay on top of posting, because posting on all these platforms, it is a lot. It's a lot to keep up. And I've experienced that not just in my personal socials, but in the workplace as well. And so by having an effective calendar and plan, it can really help things run smoothly and allow you to kind of be ahead of the game, so to speak. I wanted to include a little case study of something that I did personally for the charity that I currently work for, as mentioned before. So essentially, I was wanting to promote the 60th anniversary gala dinner. What I did first, as seen in phase 1, I set goals for myself in terms of on all the social platforms, as well as the website, on how I can actively promote the event, how I can promote ticket sales, but also how I can expose the event to new audiences. That was phase 1, basically like a draft phase, and putting it in an orderly timeline. Phase 2 was then implementing and the content creation itself. So making sure that on all of my platforms, content was created to promote the 60th anniversary dinner, while tying into the overall campaign of the boys' choir itself. So for an example, we did like flashback posts being the 60th anniversary. We did ticket links in every post as well. So if people were interested in buying tickets, it was obvious to them. We also promoted our boys if they were at any recent events as well, and what they can expect to see as well if they do come to a concert, not just the gala dinner. So we were trying to tie it in as a real 60th celebration, not just focusing on the current choir members, but honouring the past members too. which if we have any anniversaries coming up here in the car clubs, it's a great way to do it because you're connecting with not just the current members, but past members, therefore broadening your audience, hopefully increasing ticket sales, and also making sure that there is that community connection as well. Bless you. Phase 3 was then to be quite self-critical and analyse how the implementation of the marketing strategy to promote this event, I guess, compared to previous events, and where I can improve on in the future. So where do you go with all the information that I've just given you? Where I would start is step 1 with an initial assessment and goal setting, as mentioned, how I did with the National Voice Choir. So you want to begin by understanding the current market and social media presence of each company in your audience. So who are your competitors? You want to set very specific goals. So again, identify specific objectives such as increasing brand awareness, driving sales, or improving customer engagement. We then go on to phase 2, which is the audience research and targeting. So this basically means you want to conduct thorough research to understand the target audience of each company or each of your competitors as well, including demographics, interests, and online behaviours. Step 3, strategy development and implementation. So with this, we want to create a tailored content strategy for each company, essentially focusing on the relevant topics, formats, videos, articles, and platforms. So for example, I mentioned the big 4, but there's also LinkedIn as well. That's a really great corporate platform for connecting brands and companies with each other. You also, in this phase, want to develop a very good social media plan. So this is basically outlining post schedules, engagement tactics, and community management strategies. And that falls under the content calendar step in your planning. Step 4 is the self-critical step. So you want to do performance monitoring and optimization and adjusting your campaigns where they need to be adjusted so that they perform better, therefore can reach more consumers, as well as increase your analytics and insights as well. So your likes, your shares, your saves, all of that. Overall, you want to continuously optimize strategies based on data insights. So that's where you are constantly adjusting and monitoring all of your content across all platforms to ensure that it strongly aligns with your marketing goals, and it allows for you to adjust to the audience on how the audience is receiving your content. If that makes look, by following these steps, it's going to give you a rough plan to follow to ensure that your social media campaigns are effective and that they hit your audience. There is so much more area in each of these steps in terms of campaign planning, which I could be here all day talking to you about, but I'm not going to chew your ear off about it. And the most important thing is, for me, it's always been the community connection, ensuring that you're hitting a niche, and also ensuring that whatever you post on these platforms align with your brand's values and morals. At the end of the day, I don't think you can go wrong if you have those 3 key points in mind when posting on any platform. And overall, this combined with the website knowledge that was mentioned before. He's left us, have you? Yeah. It all ties into each other into a nice little package. And I'm going to leave it there if there's any questions. And thank you.
Okay, questions for Chris?
I'll go in front of that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Peter from Jazz Hub. Just comment on the questions. So the point will be think don't do too much if you're a small club. And it's more important to be consistent, regular. So actually one post a month or something. The other problem is, what's your sort of advice about Facebook boosting posts for small clubs? We don't have much money for that.
Yeah, see, paid advertising, that could be a whole other PowerPoint in itself. And you're right, the smaller clubs, consistency is key. I think paid advertising definitely has its advantages. It depends though on the budget. However, it will help push you above your competitors. The good thing about the Meta accounts, which you can actually tie in Facebook and Instagram, is that you can actually do a paid post across the two platforms. Whether that is more of a financially accessible option rather than just niching onto Facebook or one of the platforms. But I've noticed there is benefit in doing paid posts, but again, it comes back down to what your purpose for the paid post is, So for an example, with the charity, we focus paid posts on events or auditions because those two key elements of the organisation are what's going to keep the organisation going. We want people coming to the events, so the concerts, and we need more boys to audition. So it depends on what you're hitting, but yes, there is benefit in paid promotions.
Thanks again, Chris. Roger Reed from the Theatre Car Club. Just a couple of questions or a couple of things about the source of content. Whether, particularly for us, it's mostly on Facebook, and pretty much it's just open posting from members.
Yeah.
Is there kind of a more important that the moderators take charge, do you think, and to control it, to make it a more consistent message? Or
for Facebook, I think it's great that you can have your members post for you. However, if you are wanting to build a bigger social platform, it is important that the business or club itself is posting. That is what's going to tie in the engagement. That's what's going to tie in the members being able to comment, share, like. So it's a mix of both. As mentioned before, Facebook's a great community platform for that reason. However, if you are wanting to step more into the social space, like on Instagram, that's going to need to come from the business. In terms of using someone else's photo, be wary of copyright and also be wary of the back end of the algorithm of Facebook that could potentially block you as spam. So there's also that wariness. Obviously, if some of your club members are emailing through photos, then the business themselves are uploading them. I find that seems to be okay in terms of copyright because usually they're not posted already or you're posting them manually yourself, but just be wary of screenshotting photos and things like that. Yeah, but it depends on the platform.
Mark, do we have one online?
yes, we do. So the question is, how long should a YouTube clip be?
The YouTube algorithm likes videos just over 10 minutes. Compared to that of Instagram or TikTok, the best ones with the best insights tend to be a minute to 30 seconds. Sorry, Phil, I'm speak to the camera or, yeah. So YouTube, it's generally just over 10 minutes, but that's also when paid, you can start to get payment from YouTubers if they are over 10 minutes. So it's also beneficial for the business. Yeah.
Just to Roger's point, many clubs have two Facebook pages, one open to the public and one members only. So from a moderation point of view, it's a lot easier most of the time to control members only page.
Apart from the fact there's only ever one person doing all of it, they're doing
Yeah.
all that other,
Right.
and now they've got to write a better website.
Yeah.
And fix the email campaign.
Can I just add,
Sleep's overrated.
Yeah, I know.
Sleep, yeah, you don't need sleep. That's what I've learned.
one of the clubs I'm involved in has got a members page and a public page. And the members page is pretty active. The public page, I couldn't tell you when it was last updated. And I don't think that's a very good look for clubs when your last post was like 12 months ago or something.
Something to help with that, sorry, something to help with the public page is through the Meta accounts, you can connect the Instagram and Facebook, and it can just be posted on both platforms at the same time, which saves the hassle. So if you are looking for kind of a quick fix, so to speak, for your public page, have an active Instagram account. Whenever you quickly post on that, you can program it to go on your public Facebook page automatically, so it looks like you're updating them constantly.
I do have a question, not just a smart comment. What's your advice for messenger groups? So I'm in a few messenger groups. They're a really good way of sharing information or advice, but then you get some people who are really chatty and you get this great big long stream of dialogue. We end up losing like the valuable information in these great streams of useless chat. What's your advice for sort of managing these messenger groups?
See, I've been in a chat before with 120 ladies from across the world, and I didn't say a single word in it because there was enough people speaking for multiple of us at once. And I think my experience with group chats is they are a little bit rogue when it comes to monitoring them. Yes, you can have an admin. For an example, we have WhatsApp chats for the parents with the charity, and we have admins who can let parents in and out of the chat, but we can't monitor what's put in them. So it is a little bit of a free-for-all. I don't know if you could make regulations in terms of when people join the chat, that they accept these terms and conditions, and if they don't abide by it, see you later kind of thing. But yeah, my experience with chats is I usually keep my mouth shut. Yeah.
Kristen, great presentation, thank you. I just have a question, well, actually, like your thoughts on the use of AI in all of these 4 or 5, or however many you use.
Yeah, I absolutely love AI. I think it's a really great tool when you know how to program it correctly. I think AI in terms of helping schedule posts, you can literally punch into AI, being like, make me a content calendar for the next 6 months. It's a great tool in terms of cutting the work down if you know how to program it appropriately. One thing though, in terms of captions and things like that, from my understanding, Facebook and Instagram, and in particular the Meta companies, they are becoming more sensitive to AI. So you just have to be careful in terms of your language, or if you are using it to generate captions or blog posts or anything like that. Use it as a tool, but don't use it to replace you. Keep that authenticity going, because again, I find just overall from audiences, that's what they appreciate. And I find as well, if you are wanting to appeal to a wider demographic of the audience, I find now I can really easily pick up when it's AI versus someone speaking from the heart. So there's that to consider as well. But overall, the tool, it's amazing. Like I know Instagram has just implemented a new AI technology where you can do detailed searches like you're searching on Google, but AI helps you find relevant businesses and posts through Instagram with it. So it is a really, really valuable tool. Yeah, I would use it as a tool, not to replace you. Yeah.
Okay, if I could ask some questions that are being asked online about the legal ramifications of the Voller case with regards to comments being posted by members. Are you familiar with the Voller case?
I have heard of it.
I am not.
I'm not one to usually comment though on legal matters or get a little bit political with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next question. Please ask Kristen, the time commitment per week for a small club, all volunteers, no paid staff, what's required to maintain good socials?
That comment about not having sleep before, that's probably look, I also do socials for an Indigenous charity that I work very close with called Push to Beach, in terms of promoting them and the programs that we do with them. And I've noticed if you have an effective content calendar and try and plan a month out, there are programs such as Plannerly where you can pre-input all of your posts and they self-publish for you on these platforms. That has been a godsend for me because it's allowed me to content plan for my personal pages, my work and the charities that I associate with. So it's allowed to, what I like about it as well is that you get a good idea you can go in and edit the month's content, but you get a good idea with at the start of the month, the engagement, the insights and everything, so then you can adjust the posts that are scheduled for the future. But in terms of overall content, you could easily spend an hour or two on it a day. Easily.
And that's tough for a volunteer.
Yes.
I had a follow-on question regarding the legal ramifications of the Voller case, and I won't ask you to comment on it, but Russell is saying we can't have comments turned off due to this finding.
Mark, just for interest, the Voller case is about being responsible for content that's just for interest, the Voller case is about being responsible for defamation for content that others put on your social media sites. So it's about, you know, what role you have in monitoring content.
It's a very hard one, and touching on that, social media, I see it as a double-edged sword. I still quite prefer the face value of people. I love meeting new people. I love the interaction, but unfortunately now we are having to shift more online, and it does have its benefits. We saw through COVID, it allowed us to stay connected in the most lockdown city in the world that we all lived through. And in terms of commenting, unfortunately, a lot of the platforms are, platforms where everyone feels like their opinion needs to be heard, good or bad. And so in regards to a company having, having control over that or be potentially penalised for it is a really hard situation when it's an open platform.
So the last one there, we've currently turned off comments due to this finding. The downside of that would be that's going to cut back on the engagement. The algorithm is just not going to find your page interesting if there's no comments.
Yeah.
So there's a downside to that. I have another question. How a campaign can be aimed at a specific geographic area?
That can be used through hashtags. You can actually target an area on the different platforms using the location element of it. In terms of Instagram and Facebook in particular are already kind of programmed to target the location that you're in. Often a lot of us have our location turned on, so it is being regularly tracked. But in terms of targeting a particular area, are we talking like a state or just a small town?
I'm imagining the question is in relation to a regional car club.
Okay.
How can they target messaging more locally when it might not be relevant elsewhere? I think that's what the question might be about.
It would be to use hashtags in forms of the towns that your club is mainly associated with. But then it also can tie into what was mentioned before in terms of the Google AdWords and linking that into the websites and the socials through keywords such as the town names and all of that. That further helps strengthen a campaign targeted to a smaller demographic. But naturally, you'll have outliers. It's going to go everywhere.
The question just got clarified, made the answer harder. A group of suburbs.
Yeah, so same. Same answer.
Kristen, no, fantastic. Second day again, it's fine. We have a public Facebook page and a members one as well. And similarly, our members one is very active and successful, and our public one is far less so. What we do is we have a couple of people who monitor the page. So if a member wants to put something up, they simply place it, but it doesn't go to air until it's been approved. So that eliminates any opportunity of somebody saying the wrong thing on another member or whatever. We found that quite successful.
Yeah, amazing. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, hang on, I just want to jump into it. No, just on the hashtags, just how important is it to use them in posts? To actually target things. We don't see them in any of our stuff.
For public posts, hashtags can be really valuable in the sense, especially if you're trying to grow a new or a smaller platform, because it allows for the hashtags to appear in the search engine when they're trying to search for either clubs, stuff to do with cars, stuff to do with events. It allows to tie in your post to a wider audience through the use of hashtags. On platforms like Instagram, people can actually follow specific hashtags. So for an example, I follow all charity hashtags, I follow my foundation hashtags, educate, resuscitate. So there's all different ways that people can interact with hashtags, but essentially using them on your posts allows you to hit a wider search engine.
As I'm sure, I'm the classic Newcastle and Japanese motorcycle club, and also chair of the Australian Motorcycle Council. But Chris, thanks so much for the presentation. I was more than to make a comment on this one about the editing and comments. So I would say that, restricting comments, I think that probably is just going too far. So I've monitored or run the Facebook page of the Australian Motorcycle Council for 14 years. I worked for 3 years monitoring social media for 2 different members of parliament I worked for. And you've got to allow that public discourse. That's okay. I love the 3 words that Chris said in terms of things. If somebody makes comments that don't meet your brand value or morals, then I have no problem with being the social media censor. It might be a public page, but it's your page. If you don't like something that somebody's written there, just remove it. That's what I've been doing for 14 years.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really great comment.
Got my steps up for the day.
My name's Flavio from the board club, and Russell, who's our vice president, who's noting about comments. So it's two-part. One is with comments, can you have it set up that every comment is moderated or checked before it gets posted, or does that just automatically go through?
A lot of the time they do automatically go through. There are self-censoring programs within the platforms now. Like I know a lot of Instagram hate, so to speak, is actually labeled under a separate section called hidden comments. And to see it, you have to click on hidden comments, then they're all there. It also depends on the user's settings as well. But in terms of a public page, usually it's a little bit more of a free-for-all from my experience. But yeah, it's unfortunately just part of.
Yeah, no, that's okay. But secondly, then, have you had examples or even other club members here that, with their posts, their public posts, that there has been content that has possibly created a legal issue? Because we're trying to look at what's the risk of because at the moment, some in the club thinking as it could be a high risk or medium risk, others thinking it's low. So it's quite a lot of debate, and we're really not fully landed on that space.
I think if you're able to delete the comments showing that you are effectively monitoring your social pages, I think that is the safe bet in terms of being able to clear essentially the negativity. The only examples I can think of is the hate that I've copped. Everyone cops it online. It's just unfortunately part of the culture. But I think from a business standpoint and from my personal experience working with the different charities, we've just very, very strictly monitored them. And we've deleted any inappropriate so that if it is taken, we've taken acknowledgement of it and we've removed it so that we've done the right and responsible thing as a business. But I think being a social platform, it's just something that every business is going to get. As long as you take hold of it and control it as much as you can to your ability, I don't think there's a high risk there in having very active social platforms.
Anyone else?
I have one final question online. Can we have a point of contact for Kristen's business, and does she consult her businesses?
Keith?
Kristen's slides will be shared as part of this presentation.
She doesn't need sleep.
What's late? Can't have that.
Can I add one final comment to what you're saying?
Yeah.
I understand the risks and I understand the power of social media as a marketing and promotion tool, as well as an engagement strategy. But with any tool, whether it be a power saw, a jack, a marketing campaign, it has risks. It's up to each individual organisation to actually measure, manage and mitigate those risks. And moderation is an excellent tool in that regard, as is active monitoring, as Chris mentioned, of your platform. I think the comment that you made about values and the messaging is really relevant. I mean, we need to focus people on the business or the activities of the club, and the people that don't necessarily fit the values that the club is trying to promote or trying to work against that. You know, there's tools for managing those particular elements, and that comes around in moderation or deletion of comments. And we're all here to actually enjoy the moment in the community, hopefully not to abuse each other and abuse other people. Any final questions for Chris? Can I get you to put your hands together?